This presidential race, one candidate has been the showstopper. He's won people over by promising wonderful things.
I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. I tell you that. We're going to have win after win after win. You people are going to get sick and tired of winning.
I can't wait. I want to win. Maybe Trump will make us all winners. But I doubt it. It's possible, but I doubt it. Though I have to admire the art of the author of The Art of the Deal. He just sloughs off criticism. When told he polls poorly among women, he just says, I'll be the best thing that ever happened to women. When his opponents say evangelicals won't support you, Trump said the same thing.
I'll be the best thing that ever happened to him. I mean that, 100%.
Told he wasn't acting presidential, Trump said this.
I can be more presidential than anybody. More presidential than anybody other than the great Abe Lincoln. He was very presidential, right?
What does that mean? But apparently people like hearing boasts like that. Growing up, my mother told me, don't brag, don't exaggerate, people won't like you. But lots of people love Donald Trump, even though he brags and says things like this.
My people are so smart. And you know what else they say about my people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
He could shoot someone? Monica Crowley covers politics for Fox. You'll vote for Donald Trump over Hillary.
Hi, John. Yes, if Donald Trump is the nominee, absolutely I will vote for him.
And he doesn't really believe he could shoot someone and not lose voters.
No, and afterwards he said that was hyperbole. I was just making an example. But there's an important point to be made here, John. The presidency is a personification of how most of the American people want the country to act at home and abroad. So, every presidential election is a direct result of the presidency that came before it. So I think what you're seeing with Donald Trump is less about him, per se, and more about what he represents and his style. It's brash, it's flamboyant, it's tough, but it acts with strength and authority. And after 8 years of Barack Obama, who is largely perceived as being relatively weak at home and abroad, people want somebody who is going to lead and restore America. His slogan, Make America Great Again, there's a reason why it has such great resonance.
Yes, we have the hats here, but I don't want to be led. we're not sheep. And this talk of strength frightens me. I mean, strength often means tyrants.
But don't you want a strong president who's going to lead the United States as the beacon of freedom in the world and to lead us at home?
Strong president. We're going to bully other people?
No.
We're going to put up tariffs so everything costs more?
No, but to stand up for American interests, which after 8 years of this president, people feel that American interests have been trampled.
Stand up for American interests?
Freedom, democracy in the world, oppress people like the Christians in the Middle East.
We're going to attack more
No, nobody is saying that. But when the United States is strong in real terms, John, and or perceived as strong around the world, we know what happens. We know that our adversaries, the bad guys around the world, take their foot off the brake, or they at least think twice before they act.
Or they get more mad and want to kill us even more.
That's generally not been the lesson of history. The lesson of history is that when the United States is weak or perceived as weak, the bad guys advance, the good guys retreat, and the wheels come off the world, and you have major cataclysms like World War I, World War II. The American people are not ready for the United States to be number 2 in the world or not even number 10. And that's where this president
Republican primary voters clearly are buying this, but odds are he's not going to become president. He's way behind in election betting odds when I look at it on my phone. Hillary's at 60-some%. Trump's down at 20%. She's going to be president because he turns people off.
That's the assumption that she is going to be the Democratic nominee, and she still has to clear the FBI primary, which is another whole issue. But look, assuming that that's
even
the race,
worrying about that, she's still way ahead of Trump because he's a bad bully.
That's a characterization that you will use, but there's a reason why he is winning. And again, it's about projecting strength. He is selling strength, and he is projecting authority and confidence, which are two things that are necessary but not sufficient for a winning candidate.
Sample of his strength. He admires dictators in a Playboy interview. In China, when the students poured into Tiananmen Square, the Chinese government almost blew it. Then they were vicious, horrible. They put it down with strength. That shows you the power of strength.
Right. Well, there's a difference between a Democratic leader exhibiting strength to champion American interests at home and abroad and defending and protecting the Constitution, and communist dictators like the ones that you cited. And when he's been asked about that, when he said nice things about Putin or the communist leadership, he says, what I am trying to say is that there is a virtue in being a strong leader, because it is about protecting the American people. That's why his stance is on, say, illegal immigration and the wall, or the trade deals that have been negotiated by both sides. What he is saying is, I will be a strong champion of the American worker and of the American people.
So the trade deal, he's going to impose tariffs. How is being a champion of Americans to put a 35% tariff on something and make poor people pay more for things?
Right, and this is an issue that I have with him as a conservative.
Good.
And look, I share a lot of the concerns about Donald Trump that a lot of my fellow conservatives have. Okay, I understand the phenomenon, but when it comes to nuts and bolts issues like this, I do have a problem with what he is talking about.
Trump, I think, is most destructive when he threatens trade. And recently, the Carrier air conditioning company announced that it'll build a factory in Mexico. So Trump said he'll impose a 35% tariff on anything they make.
Within 24 hours, the head of Carrier is going to call me, and he's going to say, Mr. President, we've decided to stay in the United States. That's what's going to happen, folks.
Look,
he's a bully, going to intimidate business. You have to come kiss his ring to get permission to do things.
This is another issue that I have, this protectionist impulse that you see in Donald Trump. But as a strictly political matter, if you want to know one of the reasons why he's winning, John, it is because he makes
people like hearing this stuff.
And
they don't understand economics.
But people still have pride in made in America. Now, to hire a worker here and produce a product, it does cost a lot more than to produce something in, say, Mexico or China.
It's going to cost even more if we can't import cheap ingredients from Mexico and China.
And a lot of this it puts poorer folks, like the working class, at a disadvantage, because it ends up being a tax on goods and services that they need every day. But from a strictly political standpoint, what he is saying is, I am going to make sure that the American worker is protected. And they have felt raped, neglected, abused, dismissed, ignored, silenced for a very long time.
The part of Trump's authoritarianism that bothers me most is when he threatens the press.
I'm going to open up our libel laws so when they write purposely negative and horrible and false articles, we can sue them and win lots of money. And we're going to have people sue you like you never got sued before.
I mean, let's not take the time to try to defend the free press. We agree on that. But he's a bad bully who threatens to sue everybody. He sued a Miss Universe contestant for $5 million because she criticized his pageant. She can't afford to pay the lawyers. He sues people to shut them up. I mean, he sued the county-run airport near his Florida home. He sued the town over the size of his estate's flagpole, the size of a banquet hall he added. On Facebook, I asked people what they think of Trump. Peter LaFlang complained about his lawyerism. Seems to have a lawyer-involved solution for many of the problems to bullying people. Bullying people will not work as president. What's he going to do? Sue the Iranians, the Israelis, the Chinese? He
does have a reputation as a businessman of being quite litigious. That's true. But if you tease this out, it plays into something, I think, that's a broader narrative that's helping him, John. Most of the American people don't like and don't trust the mainstream media. Okay, they think they're biased, they think they're corrupt, they think they're liars.
I mean, we're good, but all those other people.
Present company excluded, of course. But anytime a Republican candidate hits the press, and when they do it judiciously, it's more effective. When they hit the press, people rally to them. Now, nobody's gone quite as far as Trump saying, well, I'm going to open up the libel laws. We have libel and slander laws on the books, and they're tough for a reason. But when he says that, people don't get into the intricacies of the law. They just see him hitting the press and hitting back at people who are attacking him. And this is an important point. What Trump is doing throughout is mirroring the left. For decades, these are the kinds of tactics that the left has used, and professional politicians Donald Trump is not one. This is why he's getting away with it and why he's got so much traction. Politicians on the right have been afraid to mirror the left. They're afraid of what the New York Times or the Washington Post editorial boards are going to be saying about them, or what Chris Matthews might say about them. Trump, because he doesn't need this job, is liberated to mirror the left. And those tactics are working for absolutely no other person in this race. Marco Rubio tried mirroring him by insulting him and so on. It damaged the Rubio brand. The Trump brand is brash, and it's a fight. He's a fighter, and that's what's paying off for him.
And he just gets away with what the other people can't. I guess that's another art that Donald Trump practices. Somehow he has this ability to say one thing, change his position, but not lose support. And you don't think he does this? Producer Ricky Ratliff compiled some Trump statements and then asked people, who said it, Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton?
I hate the concept of guns. Who said that? Hillary or Trump?
Hillary.
You'd be wrong. Hillary. Oh my gosh. It just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans.
Hillary.
Wrong. That was Donald Trump. Hillary or Trump? I believe in universal health care.
Hillary just said that in the last debate.
Hillary.
Seems so certain.
Oh.
Who said it? Hillary or Trump, talking about illegal immigrants and the matter of deportation? The people that have been here for years, that are hard workers, have good jobs, are supporting a family. How do you throw somebody out that's lived in this country for 20 years? You just can't throw everybody out.
Hillary. What? Donald Trump said that?
Sounds like Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary.
Donald Trump said that in 2012.
Really?
You are a total loser.
And maybe we're all total losers if we don't understand that the appeal of Trump has little to do with what he actually says or believes.
Who are you voting for?
Trump.
So it doesn't matter if he's a Democrat
Yeah.
or a Republican to you, you're still voting Trump.
Right.
Why?
I just like Trump.
People just like him.
Yeah.
Some people.
No, it's true. Listen, as a conservative, I do have concerns that he is an unknown quantity. But when I talk to his supporters around the country and when I observe the phenomenon, what's clear is that so many of them just don't care that he's been all over the map. They like him personally. When he's attacked by the GOP establishment, Hillary Clinton, the left, the president, they form almost a protective shield around him. They rally to him because they think of him as some sort of deliverer from this entire corrupt system.